Hello students, we are reading Chapter 2, Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom from your First Flight textbook. Let's read and understand what is written in page number 20 and 21. But before we start, let me summarize what we read in part 1 and part 2 of this lesson. We discussed about 10th of May, which was a day of freedom for South Africa, and there was a huge gathering of international leaders and dignitaries. We also discussed about inauguration ceremony or swearing in ceremony, which was held in Union Building in Pretoria, and the first non-racial government was set up, or first non-racial government took the charge. We discussed about Nelson Mandela's speech on victory for justice, peace and human dignity, how Mandela pledged to liberate his people from poverty, suffering and discrimination. We also discussed the colorful show by jets and helicopters to show the military loyalty towards whom? Towards the new government. Singing of two national anthems, that is the old Nakosisi Leli by the whites and the new Dai Stem by the blacks. And a new system that recognized the rights and the freedom of all people was formed. Now moving over to the part 3 of this video, page number 20. The first paragraph. That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifice of thousands of my people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. I felt that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them, and they were not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. Let us discuss the word meanings. Unimaginable, difficult or impossible to imagine. Patriot, a person who supports his country and is prepared to defend it against enemies. What is wrought here? Old-fashioned, or we can call it as done or achieved. Profound here is deep and strong. Now here in this paragraph, he talks about the unequal free country. This unequal and free country was the result of the sacrifice of countless other men and women who have fought all their lives for this day. The author, who is this author? Nelson Mandela, wishes if he could thank them all, but unfortunately they didn't live to see the result of their courage. Nelson Mandela gathered his courage and power from all these people and thus wishes to make them proud. The next paragraph. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound, deep hurt. But the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisselus, the Chief Luthilius, the Yusuf Dadus, the Bram Fishers, the Robert Subuquis of our time. These are the great men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity that their like may never be known again. Perhaps it requires such depths of oppression to create such heights of character. My country is rich in the minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. Let us discuss the word meanings. Apartheid. Apartheid is a policy of system of segregation on the basis of race. Profound, very great or intense. Unintended, not planned or meant. So what is he talking about? The oppression policy, the apartheid policy scared many people, and it will take a long time for them to move on, to forget all these things. The author mentions that this hard time had its negative impacts, but it also exposed a lot of strong and courageous men. Who were the courageous men? He's talking about the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisselus, the Chief Luthilius, the Yusuf Dadus, the Bram Fisher, the Robert Subuquis. These were the great heroes of South Africa. South Africa, he says, is rich in minerals. You all know that it is known for diamonds and gems, but its greatest strength lies in its people. It is from these comrades, page number 21, the next paragraph. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Time and again, I have seen men, women risk and give their lives for an idea. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he conquers that fear. Now let us discuss the word meanings. Comrades. Comrades, a colleague or a fellow member of an organization. Resilience, the ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its effect. Defies, refuse to obey. Triumph is great victory or achievement. So what is he saying? Nelson Mandela says he gained his strength to stand against the wrong from all the great nationalists he mentioned above, who have even risked their lives for freedom and tolerated ill treatment, but never stopped fighting. He learned that courage didn't mean the absence of fear. It doesn't mean that courage is the absence of fear. We don't have fear, but the ability to overcome fear. The man who overcomes his fear is called brave. Coming to the last paragraph. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Even in the grimmest times in prison, when my comrades and I were pushed to our limits, I could see a glimmer of humanity in one of the guards, perhaps just for a second, but it was to reassure me and keep me going. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. The grimmest. What is grimmest? Grimmest is very serious or gloomy situation. Glimmer, shine faintly. Push to our limits. Push to the last point in our ability to bear the pain. Reassure. What is reassure? Say or do something to remove the doubts. So what he says, one is taught by its society to hate humans because of their skin, color, age, gender and religion. No one is born with hatred. The author's idea is that, who is the author? Nelson Mandela. His idea is that if people can be taught hatred, he says they can also be taught love and brotherhood. In their most testing times in prison, when they were being treated brutally, Mandela would see a pinch of humanity and kindness in one of the guards, and that was enough for him to keep him going. He believes that goodness in human beings can be suppressed but can never be eliminated. With this, we come to the end of third part of this lesson. Thank you for watching this video. Stay at home and be safe.